Hey, what's going on there? How y'all doing today in Atlanta Bird Game Land? This is your Uncle Steve here. Happy to join y'all on a Wednesday afternoon, September 15th. It is definitely a little cloudy out there. I think the remnants of that little hurricane that came through Texas is giving us a little bit more weather than we thought here. I think it's supposed to be kind of off and on raining for the next few days or whatever. So, it is what it is. Hopefully, everybody stays dry out there. I have to go out in this rain to get the mail to you fine people out there. So, anyway, um, so the dust is settled. Uh, we've talked about it at nauseum. We got an opportunity to vent. I can't. I really haven't seen that person that's like 100%. Oh, well, it's just one game. I've definitely seen a little bit more reaction, even from those who I see uh, are fully entrenched into the Falcons. And it's one of the things that bothers me a lot when I hear this characterization of folks who have a criticism slash critique slash just downright vent about things they saw this past Sunday. We I don't know, and I don't think folks realize that forums like this, whether it be live, whether you write a post, whether it be on Instagram, Twitter, uh, or shoot, just picking up the phone and calling somebody else. I think we have a right to expect better from our team, our organization, something that we um, invest our time in. I, I don't want to dare compare it to real life things like your child goes out there and you're disappointed in your kids and things like that, but you still stick with them. But it does ring true sometimes when you start thinking about things that you are invested in emotionally. And this team, a lot of us are invested in it, quite simply, whether it be financially going to the game every week, whether it be tailgating out there, or whether it's just sitting by the TV and say, I like their uniforms. I'm invested in the Atlanta Falcons. So this week has been kind of a cleanse where a lot of us have had an opportunity to tell how we feel and get it all out at the beginning, because it was a rough 48 hours after the game, because there was very, very, very little to take positively out of what we received from that game. And even Monday, got a chance to get together with the admins, and thank you again to the guys for Tidy, Marcus, and Nicholas for getting together. And I think we're going to try to do that as much as possible after each game, whether it be all four of us, two of us, three of us, whatever set we do. I think that was a very good, real talk about what went down during that game. So if you all get a chance on Mondays, definitely make sure you try to look out for that. I think so far it's just been real talk about the things we've seen as far as this team is concerned. So today, what I wanted to do, again, after the dust is settled, as you see, I moved on to Tampa Bay. We are keep moving. We can't stay on the Philadelphia game because now we're closer to the Tampa Bay game than we are the Philadelphia game. So no need to start reminiscing on Philly. Now, how we played is something we can definitely be worried about. So I wanted to come on trying to be brief as much as possible, but again, obviously willing to see who has to say what about us going forward. And so this segment that I'm coming up with today is called Is It Fair to Say? And I want you all to think about this as folks who come on and give their opinion or talk about what we just said, no one is saying that we are case experts. No one is saying that what we say is we're whispering, getting whispers from the Falcon locker room and saying that's what's going to happen. But I think as fans, and that's what I characterize myself as a fan, we do have opinions. And listening to you all and seeing the posts and the very spirited posts, some funny and things of that nature, it's just, I just wanted to go through a couple of things that I saw this last couple of days and just address it and see, are we overreacting to that? Brother Amani, how you doing, sir? What's going on? Debbie says, yes, we do, time and money as far as investment is concerned. Yes, ma'am. What's going on, Corey? I am going to start putting these comments up there. And again, I see you all through there. The reason why I have to keep going back and forth is because, again, if you all see, and I don't know if it's in the Atlanta Bird game thing. If you all get a chance, because I think myself, Tidy, and I think Marcus used StreamYard as well. So try your best to sign up with that StreamYard thing. So when your comments do come, it says Facebook user like Debbie's does. And we're not telling you have to do it, but it helps us so we can see who you are instead of looking back and forth to the screen. But since it's not that many so far, we'll just stick with it like this. Brother Corey says, what's up? Also said he enjoyed the broadcast. And we appreciate that, man. Again, that was, we did it for the draft, and it really got a lot of folks talking. And this Monday, another opportunity to talk to you folks. So that was real nice. Brother Armani says, Uncle Steve, I'm going to be real honest with you. If we have a terrible season this year, I just say blow the whole thing up. Not giving up on the season yet. But if I see we end up heading in that way, that's what we need to do. This team played terrible, and I think if we continue playing this way, it's officially rebuild mode for the Atlanta Falcons. And that's fair, and there's nothing wrong with you having that thought. Brother Corey says, I think it's fair to say anything about this team because the team has not done anything different from what we've been seeing the last 4 years, which, Corey, gets me to my point, back to what the theme of this is it fair to say? So I'm going to go down about 4 or 5 points. And again, feel free to comment. Feel free to comment later. And I know folks will. But is it fair to say, let's go to number one, is it fair to say that starters should have taken preseason reps? I know a lot was made about you only had a couple of folks in there. The first name I think about is Kyle Pitts, obviously, who got the one play and out during the Cleveland game. And not to say that, he didn't do his job. He got 4 catches and 4 for 31. If it was any other rookie that didn't get drafted number 4 overall in the draft, I think we probably would be saying, hey, good job, Rook, for the first time getting out there. But when you go up there, and these are the things that we talked about in April, when you go up there and get somebody so high, and then the expectations is for that person to be a game changer. Anybody in the top 5 in the draft is expected to be a game changer. So is it fair to say that the starters should have taken preseason reps? I think we should have definitely taken preseason reps this year. Even if you didn't do it for the Cleveland game, maybe for the Miami game, I can understand maybe why you didn't, because you just had practice with them and you wanted to hold tight and do something else. But it is a fair question. Was the timing off? Could that have been a reason for a lot of the pre-snap penalties? Were we able to get, and these are all just thoughts in my mind. I have no access to playbooks or anything like that. But it's fair for us who are watching the game to say, wow, you guys look really rusty out there. You look real just skittish out there. aside of the first 2 drives of the game, I almost wonder, maybe because that was scripted. You almost wonder, because the first few drives are usually scripted. After that point, what was it? Just a matter of you guys didn't make adjustments? I don't know, but it's a fair question to ask. Should starters have taken preseason reps? I don't know. Joe, how you doing, Joe? Joe said we playing Tampa Bay next. Yeah, yes, we are. We got it. I keep pointing to that. I keep putting the camera. We are playing Tampa next. You are absolutely right, my friend. Corey says, in my opinion, the starters should have taken preseason snaps, but from what Arthur Smith sold us, it really didn't matter. There's no excuse for the performance that they gave us on last Saturday. And those are part of the reasons why I wanted to ask these questions, not to be Mr. I'm going to knock it all outside the Atlanta Falcons' head because they made that decision, but we have to ask. The way they looked out there, they looked like they weren't ready to play after a certain amount of the game, after really the first quarter. Philly was ready to play all 4 quarters. It seemed like we just weren't cohesive. So it's a fair question. Is it fair to say that our O-line is worse, I should have said, I'm an idiot. Our O-line is worse than initially thought. Last year, the year before, and the year before, one of the things that past regimes and this regime was talking about, getting this offensive line straight. And we just have yet to see that happen. And that's one of those things where at what point do you just say, man, maybe y'all just, maybe just folks can't judge offensive lines. I don't know. But from what I saw out there Sunday, after the first 2 quarters, now the offensive line, by regular standards, did a decent job in the run game. We averaged over 4 yards a carry in the run game, which we hadn't seen that type of production probably since 2018, flashes of 2018. So I was impressed with what Cordell Patterson did. Mike Davis was okay. He definitely had a couple of flashes, definitely had a couple of good runs that we bullied our way through the line. So there are parts where I just can't 100% give an F- to the O-line. But geez, if you're just going to let folks run through the middle like that, whew, that's one of those things where you have to truly start thinking, dude, what evaluations are going on in the O-line? Do people, when they get hired, cross the Georgia border and just lose all thought on what offensive line should be? And it's really, crazy to me. Jory, what's going on? Say that I'm at a point to questioning, are we really that bad? Because we look exactly the same from last season. Fair point. Fair point. We changed GMs, we changed head coaches, we changed receiver on the team. We changed a lot of those players we had on defense, brought a lot of new folks here. And with the thought that maybe the coaching staff here could coach these guys up. Here's the problem when you bring up a point like that, Jory. We were sold that maybe it wasn't the players, it was the scheme. Maybe it was just the coaches weren't coaching them up. We were also sold several times by this organization that this is not a rebuild. We were sold that we're coming in to win games. I know you can't extrapolate one game out to the whole season, because if we did, I think whoever the number 1 pick next year would be landing here. But from what we saw on that field, it's just like, whew, that is just crazy. Corey says, I think we are missing badly when we draft O-linemen. We can't continue to miss in the draft and start drafting killers on both sides of the ball. Absolutely. Joy says we look small on both sides of the ball, which has also been a big criticism. I remember back when we used to have Alex Gibb and we used to run the zone blocking. I guess we had the absolute right personnel for that, because when we were doing that, we were very successful. Whatever we've tried in the last couple of years just hasn't worked in with the offensive line. And more importantly, at this time, you got to protect your commodity at quarterback. You got to. We'll get to quarterback in a second. Is it fair to say that the Kyle Pitts debut makes us rethink the draft decision? Now, let me start by saying I am not telling you Kyle Pitts won't turn out and be the best draft pick in the history of Atlanta Falcons franchise. I'm not telling you that. What I'm saying is it fair to say Kyle Pitts' debut makes us rethink the draft decision? Kyle Pitts was brought in here, as we were told, to be this great red zone threat, this extra weapon for Matt. When you got inside the 20, sure hands, young buck, good shape, be able to snatch some touchdowns we hadn't been getting lately in the last couple of years in the red zone. Fair question. After one game, again, is it fair to say, this is not what I'm saying, that we should have rethought the draft? I'm asking, does his debut make you think we should have rethink what we did at the number 4 position? We all know who we had an opportunity to get at number 4. But the way the rest of this team is constructed, it seems apparent to me, and it'll seem more apparent after 2 or 3 games, that we're not, either we started off just horrible because we didn't do the preseason things, or we're just not a very good team. And if you're not a very good team and you're a young team, that's why I was begging, pleading for us to get a quarterback. Not so much that the quarterback would start day one, see Chicago with Andy Dalton, but to get somebody in here to be part of the program and that can learn and learn under Matt while he's still here. All of the nonsense I've heard about, well, he'll sit on the bench. So what? But at least we have somebody who's ready if called upon, as opposed to, well, we'll just play out this year again, fool the fans, get our investment, as Debbie was talking about earlier, take our money and move on. It's a fair question. It's fair. Corey says, I think Kyle Pitts will be a great player. I think we should have went ahead and pulled the scab off and got the quarterback first to sit behind Matt for a year. It was never like we were going to the Super Bowl this season anyway. Just go ahead and do a true rebuild. And that's one of the things, Corey, that I said. As an organization, you don't have to say we're rebuilding. You don't have to. But I think everyone around here realizes that whether Matt is here in 2021 or 22 or not, we are closer to starting over than we are jump starting. You see what I'm saying? It's not like you're jump starting the battery and getting it to go back to what it was. You're changing the battery. You're changing the battery and putting a whole new battery in there and starting this whole team off. Instead of trying to, keep the one piece in there and still have less than average people around him. It's not, I don't know, it's just not good. It's not good to me. Amari says, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers sat on the bench. Just saying, folks. I mean, it's a formula that has been duplicated quite a bit. This is not a shot at number 2. It's not a shot at the guys whose jersey I'm wearing. It's not a shot. It's the truth. And management should actually think more of their fans. Because I'll be willing to bet you Atlanta Falcon fans would rather say, hey, we're going to take a young, talented quarterback, put young pieces around him, and struggle for a second, and struggle for a year, as opposed to saying, uh-oh, we got this big-time tight end who I think Kyle Pitts is going to be great, just like Corey said. I think Kyle Pitts is going to be great. But is Kyle Pitts going to benefit right now in this particular offense with Matt Ryan, who bless his heart and bless the years he's given us, right now doesn't look like the part, doesn't look like the piece we need during this retooling of the team. It's just not. That's not a knock personally on Matt. I actually like Matt Ryan. I really do. I think Mike Brown is a great leader. I think he's done some great things. He took us to the Super Bowl, MVP. He took us to the playoffs 4 out of the first 5 years. He's won more games than lost, though. You couldn't tell that the last 3 years. But there's nothing personal. But as a fan, it's time to start winning. And sometimes you have to get folks out of here. I talked about it during the offseason, and people thought I was selling out the team. I said it would not hurt my feelings if they cut Matt and Julio this year. Cut them, not trade them. Cut them if it was financially able to. I'm not naive. If you were able to get rid of Matt, Julio, Dan Quinn, Raheem Morris, blah, blah, and start this thing all over again and bring some new energy and new folks into this organization, I'm telling you, fans are not dumb. We would get it. And most people would say, you know what? 2021, gonna make a decision whether to invest in going to the games and whatever. But I guarantee you, the majority of folks who are still Atlanta Falcon fans will show up because they want to be the ones to say, I was there when blank quarterback, not Arthur Blank, but blank quarterback was here. And I saw them from the beginning. I was here when Kyle Pitts caught his first pass, and now he's a Hall of Famer. I was here when Richie Grant started his first game, and now he's an All-Pro. Things like that. Don't think the fans are that dumb. We're not. And we would 100% be behind you if you told us the truth. Is it fair to say our pass rush will never get better? Another song and dance that's been given to this organization. A song and dance we really have not gotten right since John Abraham left. Again, notwithstanding the 1 year that Vic Beasley tripped upon 16 and a half sacks. Aside of that year, we talk about quarterback as much as we want. We talk about offensive line as much as we want. Folks, we haven't had a pass rush since John Abraham left. A successful pass rush. As much love as we all throw on Grady Jarrett, and I'm not trying to throw it all on him, but if Grady is that great and that generational, he should be producing a couple of sacks instead of whiffing on a couple of sacks. We call everybody else out. We don't call Grady out. I know Grady's great. You don't have to tell me. Y'all don't have to explain. I watched the games. I was there. I saw Grady get to Hurts. And I also saw Hurts slip out of the tackle twice. We do not have a pass rush. And at what point do we sit here and not call that out? We don't. Armani says, y'all better be lucky Thomas Dimitroff wasn't the GM because you know who would be a Falcon. Yeah, stop it. Oh, man. Joy says, and our O-line has been the same since we let Todd McClure go. Mud Duck absolutely held down the middle, even though I'm giving our offensive line a little grace, because in 2015 and 16, 15 was the 8-8 year, we actually didn't have a horrific offensive line. Definitely in 2016 we didn't. But in 2015, we also had times when we were not that bad. So I'm gonna talk, because when they replaced him finally with Alex Mack solidified stuff for a couple of years, and then when you had the Super Bowl run where all 5 guys were healthy the whole time, that you got to give them credit for that. Corey says, I think we have the right defensive coordinator, but we really don't have the talent to produce a pass rush. Dean Pease has always had the talent, but this team doesn't. Grady can only do so much. And again, I hope you don't think I'm taking a shot at Grady. I'm saying, judging by what his peers say, what NFL players have him as our highest rated player on the team and stuff like that, for all of that, I give me one, Grady. Give me something. Give me some more. And I know it's hard to ask him for more. He's probably pound for pound right now the best player on the team. And so sometimes when you're the best, we expect more. Jory says, crazy thing is we had a chance to get Aaron Donald. Don't remind me, man. Please don't. Don't remind me. Please don't remind me. Brother Jonathan, how you doing? He said he had all day to dice us up. I'm trying to tell you. Absolutely, he did. I mean, it's crazy. All right, going back. Is it fair to say that our coaching adjustments made on Sunday has me worried for future games? I say this because in the first half of that game, folks, as much as we all know what happened in the second half, at the end of the first half, there was a glimmer until that last touchdown drive with the 2-point conversion. That kind of ticked me off. But still at that point, you're talking about 9 points. There was a small slither of hope that, hey, whatever they did in the first half, this new coaching staff can take some of those, can get rid of all of the fallacies and the faults of the old staff and say, hey, maybe we can make second half adjustments that'll get this thing right in the second half. And what happened? Their offense looked better. They basically averaged 7 to 8 yards a carry. Their defense was not stopping. Their defense was not being stopped. They had nothing. They were rushing for. They did not blitz. Philly didn't have to blitz. The 4 guys were getting all the pressure. They didn't have to. They really didn't start bringing that extra person until that second to last touchdown. They didn't have to blitz. So it worries me that I don't see the coaching staff making those adjustments into the second half and say, whew, well, he did this. Let me see if we can counter something. I know you only have 15 minutes. I see Bill Belichick do it. I see Pete Carroll do it. I see Todd McVay do it. Not Todd McVay. What's my name? Scott McVay. I see other coaches do it. I need to make adjustments. And that's offensively too. If I see that pass rush in the second quarter like it was doing, starting to creep a little bit closer into getting mad, then I need to change some of the blocking scheme. I need to change what I'm doing up front. This was sadly reminiscent of some of the games we saw last year where Atlanta would go out to a 10-point lead, see Tampa Bay, see Chicago, see Dallas. And then in the second half, we just sit there and say, you know what? No changes, no nothing. And the other team outthinks, outcoaches, and eventually wins the game. Are those coaching adjustments made on Sunday worrisome? They are worrisome to me. Charles says, I'm not hyping up Hurts, but he was excellent at escaping pressure. Brady won't be doing that Sunday. He has to get the ball out quickly. And Charles, I'm not doubting that part. Charles, that's very astute. You're right. Tom Brady is not going to be running an RPO. Tom Brady is not going to be scrambling for 8, 9, 10 yards. But what worries me about Tom Brady is Tom Brady lets the ball go after 2-3 seconds most of the time. Tom Brady is the smartest QB ever. Before, I wanted to hold the flame for Joe Montana as I watched him run up and down Fulton County Stadium and just own the Falcons and thought he was just the best ever. Tom Brady just finds a way. And obviously, he's found a way against the Falcons. He has never lost a game to us. And don't think he doesn't realize that. Tom Brady is not coming in here saying, "Oh, did you see what happened to the Falcons? I'm gonna let him off. I'm gonna let him off the hook." Tom Brady gonna try to hang 50 easily. He's gonna try. But you're right, Charles. This is a different quarterback. This is a different quarterback than we're getting, no doubt. Amanda says, "Corey, true brother, saying that name is a sin in this group." Oh, man. Corey says, Corey says, that is fair to say there were no adjustments made in the second half of the game. This has to be a reason to be concerned. This coaching staff will have to be able to make adjustments on the fly to have any type of success. Charles says, Brady really does. I don't think he's human at this point. Only bad thing going in Brady's behalf is his age. Because one way or another, eventually, time will catch up with you. But geez, it's just not right now. It's just not. Brother Tim, how you doing, sir? Say, hey, Steve, I've been here for the other live videos, but couldn't say anything because Facebook has me suspended. No, Tim. But man, we looked horrible Sunday. I see there's been no changes to that O-line. Shaking my head. Tim, your concerns are the same as ours, man. We were talking about it a couple of minutes ago, and thanks for joining us, Tim. I knew I missed your name coming through. I remember you used to pop in every now and then. Yeah, we're just as concerned. We talked about the O-line maybe a few minutes ago and just how porous it is, and we're just getting a lot of the same. And hopefully we can do something, man. Change this bad boy up. It says Tom Brady is a hologram. He basically is. He really is. I mean, there's pretty much nothing you can do about that cat. All right. Is it fair to say, please don't beat me up because I'm not mentioning names. Is it fair to say that minus number 11, the offense seemed different in a bad way? And what I'm saying is, and I'm starting to realize, and maybe after seeing highlights of number 11 up in Tennessee as his team lost, is it fair to say maybe in the last 2 years, the aura of number 11 may weigh on defensive coordinators more than the actual current ability? If number 11 was still here, hypothetically, I'm not wanting him to come back, and please don't give me let's stop talking about him. But we got to talk about it because it's a big difference from what we had in 2020. The aura of number 11 would bring that safety over. The aura of number 11 would get that double team. The aura of number 11 would change the way defenses did, which is why Ridley was able to eat. And even last year, Gage was ready to eat a couple of times. So I'm not begging for a redo of number 11. I'm asking the question. Minus number 11, the offense seemed different. Now, it did seem different on the first drive, too. We were actually running the ball. Something you don't see every day. Cordero Patterson getting a couple of yards. Mike Davis getting a key first down. We were actually able to run a couple of times. Matt scrambled for a first down. Things we hadn't seen for a while. But you got to think about it. Did we look different without number 11 in there? It's fair. It is fair. My brother Damon says, Steven, I was there at the game and it was a complete embarrassment. This is why I'm not against having starters getting reps in preseason. The first two series showed we got something, but it seemed we got away from it, and Philly made adjustments as time went on. I was almost thinking about that, Damon, as I was talking about that. You know how they always talk about the first 15 plays are scripted, and that's what makes me wonder about the adjustments. That first drive, obviously, and probably a little bit of the second drive was probably still on the script. So what bothers me is after that first half, and I know it's well documented, we only had 260 some yards, and they say 130 of them were in the first two drives, 140 or whatever it was, were in the first two drives. So that means that after those first two drives, your adjustments weren't that great. That bothers me. That bothers me as a fan, because I think we should, see a little bit more than that. Brother Isaiah, how you doing, man? Isaiah said, that's fair. Matt looked like he had coach's shot there, Julio. That Julio wasn't there. Absolutely. Absolutely. Charles says, I think it's the aura, but JJ is a threat no matter what. And yeah, and I don't get it twisted. Even though he didn't have the greatest of debuts and obviously got the coach's ire, if you all looked at the Mike Vrabel thing when he called out Julio for the dumb penalty, and I understand. But yeah, that 11 is still good. 11 is still good. And I almost wonder a couple of times, even the lights were on first game, first live snap, did Matt at one time look out there and look to the left and said, oh, that's not Julio? It's fair to think. So that's why I say, is it fair? That's the name of the segment. Is it fair? Isaiah said, Julio still puts fear in defenses. Ridley can't do that. Pitts may be able to do that one day, but not now. Corey says, number 11 did make life easier for number 18. I can only imagine if we still had 11, 8, and 18. Boy, remember when he got drafted, they made the little pre-posters. That was before we knew everything behind the scenes going on with Julio. Yes, it makes you wonder what it would have been like if you could have had all three of those guys on the field. And I'm telling y'all, again, the thought of Julio wouldn't make a difference. Right now, Ridley is very nice. Ridley is a very nice receiver. They're not doubling Ridley. They're not going to double Ridley right now. I don't care how great you run your routes. But he's not double team guy at the moment. And that's, that's fair. I don't think that's anything talking about. My brother Tidy, how are you, sir? One thing I didn't understand is how the only play that Kyle Pitts played in preseason was a great play design for him that gained 27 yards. We get to the regular season on Sunday and no play design for Pitts. Run that play that worked in preseason, coach. And those are the things that I'm talking about, Tidy, the things that you just say, look, when we got the number 4 pick, whether you were happy we got Pitts and didn't get a quarterback or not, well, we got him. And now that we got him and we see this freak of nature and we see the great training, that's why I always tell y'all, don't get enamored with those T-shirt and shorts pictures when you see in training camp. We got happy because it's, oh my goodness, this big, tall, strapping dude, and he's gonna take over Julio. He's about an inch taller, and he's a physical beast, and he's a freak. And look what he did against the SEC, and all of this. And you say to yourself, man, I throw him in for one play in preseason, he gets 27 yards, and then you get to the first game, and you're inside the 5, and he's on the sideline. Come on, man, on the sideline. Those things right there, those are the things to me that just bother me. And I'm no coach, but I know my chances are better with that guy on the field inside the 5-yard line. I don't care what scheme you bringing up. I don't care what formation you have. I see number 8 out there. I need to get him on the field if I want to have a greater chance of scoring a touchdown. Now, I know he got a procedure penalty early on and stuff like that. I get it. But you got to shake that off and say, let me put my best players in. We got inside the 5-yard line twice and came away with 2 kicks for our current MVP, Younghoe Koo. Ridiculous, man. Damon says he needs to be Damon says he needs to be complimented with a solid number 2. Gage is not a solid number 2. That's what he says. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to go back and forth so I can give y'all some love on some of these things here. I think Damon got the last couple of things saying the starters should have played during the preseason. Absolutely. They should have. But again, now we're into the regular season, so we can't talk about what they should have done. It's too late for that now. Isaiah says he didn't get Gage involved. He ignored Hurst. He also kept Walker and Grant off the field on defense too. And let me also, before we play that game, and I'm getting ready to get to him in a second, y'all also got to get a little time, y'all. Y'all also got to get a little time. The brother didn't get a great amount of time. Now, I'll get to that in a second because I'm getting ready to get to him at the end. What's going on, Cam? How you doing, my friend? Isaiah says Gage is definitely a number 3, but Ridley is an elite number 1. I don't even need you to be elite, though. I just need you to catch the ball every time. And he did decent. What's going on, Dave? How you doing? Say, nobody is talking about this, but that pass from Matt to Ridley in the middle of the field nearly got Ridley decapitated. Fair point. Fair point. Damon also says that line is purely crap. I think you're being nice by saying crap. After win game. I think that's I think that might be the biggest compliment they get. Toddy said, Matt definitely missed Julio Sunday, and Julio seemed to miss Matt as well. And let me tell you something what Julio didn't get to. Julio didn't get called out by a coach here. Something that a lot of us brought up. Julio was coddled. Julio was baby. Julio was coach. One play every 3 plays. One play. You know what we got? One play. And Variable probably said, no, bro, you got to get out there on the field. You see, we brought you over here, man. Charles says, we all know Matt's going to throw a ball to a receiver to get hit stick. That's why we need a big star receiver. Hit stick. That's pretty good. Jory says, the Falcons got to stop drafting project and injury-prone players and start drafting players in their natural positions. Well, listen, let's also not kid ourselves too. Let's go back to the previous regime, y'all. We don't have money. You can't blame it totally on Terry and Arthur for personnel. They had an opportunity to draft well. That's it. A lot of folks not coming to, well, one, they're not coming to Atlanta because we're not winning in the last couple of years. And 2, they're not coming to Atlanta because they're looking at your payroll. Atlanta had to restructure Matt in order to get to the business year this year, guys and gals. They couldn't even get into the business year till they restructured their highest paid player. So we can't pay for folks. And I hear what y'all saying about drafting projects and injury-prone players, but guess what? The injury-prone players, say that 3 times. The injury-prone players are ones that need the one-year deal, prove it deals and stuff like that. Running backs, Mike Davis. Mike Davis was not a commodity. Mike Davis was on the cheap. Eric Harris was not a commodity. He was on the cheap. Brandon Copeland wasn't a commodity. He was on the cheap. Some of these guys coming in here, they're not coming in here. What was the biggest offseason investment we made? I think it was Mike Davis. I don't think we spent more than we spent on him, y'all. Come on now. You got a EBT card, and you're going there trying to buy no-name brand canned goods from Food Depot. No disrespect to Food Depot. And you can't expect to get caviar. You can't expect that. Yeah. I'm sorry, some of y'all, I want to get these comments in, but I can't get y'all names, but forgive me if I did. I don't know how factual I can be, but Julio got called out big time. I don't see him there for long. I don't either. Not a veteran like that. And it'll be interesting to see how Julio responds. That's something Julio never dealt with here. Tidy says, I don't even think that play against Julio should have been called. Vrabel went too far in his criticism. I'll say that too. I actually think you could have blown the whistle and just let it go. Yeah, I don't believe in that penalty too. The brother was blocking downfield, and yeah, the whistle blown, but homeboy still got you engaged. If he got you engaged and y'all interchange, yeah, whether a whistle blow or not, you're not trying to be the one that gives up first. I don't care what you do. You're a football player. Says, thank you. We love drafting diamonds in the rough players. Right. And 1 out of every 5 come to roost. Still waiting on Comiskey to come through. We still waiting on Deidris and Knott, and he cut. And we're still waiting for him to be a great player. We got to give Terry and Arthur another year or two. Their hands are tied, but we can definitely criticize some of the coaching on Sunday. Arthur was way too conservative, and I felt like he was over his head. Let me see who that is. That's Charles. Charles, I don't have a problem with giving you time, but I do have a problem with you selling me something which he sold me. And I know behind the scenes we're also looking and saying you're gonna win with that team, but this organization sold us and said we're not rebuilding, we're retooling, and I don't even think retooling came out of hand. We said we're here to win games, and I respect that. But when you're saying you're winning games and you come out with that product right there, folks, come on, man. I hear you. Of course we know we got to give them time. But you can't tell me you're going to give us time and you got basically a car with new stuff around it and you putting an old engine into it. Analogy engine, Matt Ryan. Ty says, Steve, how is our cap situation so terrible and our team is so bad? Make it make sense, brother. I wish I could. Honestly, I believe our defense is slowly becoming a bend but don't break defense, but that defense can only perform as well as the offense done. And that's a very good point. I'm trying to see who said that back here, and I apologize. Like I said, I'm trying to get to the comments real quick. But, yeah, you're right, because there were a couple of moments there, a couple of fourth downs where the defense stood up, and then you get the ball back to the offense, and we don't get it done. I understand our defense is not the 86 Bears. I understand that we're not this great defense, but there were times that the defense gave you the ball back. I think about the first half when we scored the field goal, they scored a touchdown, we scored the field goal, and the defense stopped them. So we give it back to the offense. Offense, I need y'all to capitalize on this. Offense doesn't do it. You give it back to them. We know how to rescue. I have more money in my account than the Falcons had all this year. We are in deep doodle this year. Oh, man. Christopher, what's going on, brother? Say they don't understand that, Steve. And as I'm saying, I'm just bringing it up. I'm not trying to give, solutions. I'm just bringing up things that a fan sees, a fan through the lens of a fan. I see what you're looking at from your contract situation, folks. We can't. It's almost like that same thing, and I know y'all get tired of it. Every time when somebody gets cut from a team, when they get cut from a team and the first post goes up there, let's go get them. With what? Some coupons? I mean, you would, folks, we gotta, think that thing through, y'all. When the offense sustained 6-minute drives, the defense held up and did well. Outside a few busted plays and missed tackles, they were holding the Eagles to minimum gains. And also, in defense of the defense, y'all did that. The defense ended up spending more time on the field because the offense, after the first quarter, was giving it back so quick. So when you think about that, they didn't have a lot of opportunity to get the ball. I mean, to rest on the shoot. By the time the defense sat on the bench, they were getting right back up. So that's true. I forgot the Falcons shop at Walmart. No, bro, they don't shop at Walmart. They shop at Dollar Tree. If they shopped at Walmart, look, Walmart got some quality stuff. Yeah, Dollar Tree with that mess. And no offense to Dollar Tree, because my wife will go there and get some toilet paper in a heartbeat. Christopher says there's something else going on behind the scenes for Mike Vrabel. Yeah, I believe that too. Dude said Julio cost him the game. I don't think he cost him the game, but that was a big play. 3rd-and-1 to 3rd-and-16. The whole team cost him the game. Yeah. The Falcons shop at Ross in the flea market. I can't dog Ross out either. Ross got some good T-shirts there every now and then for big boys. So I like Ross too. I should have never brought up these stores. These stores go come back and say, hey, brother, what are you saying about our stores, man? All right. Okay. I'm going to take this one. Nah, they shop at yard sales. Okay. I can get out of trouble with yard sales. Yard sales won't get me in trouble. We find their jerseys at the same place they find their players' yard sales. Y'all, man, y'all are crazy, man. Okay, I'll reach out. What's up, Christian? How you doing, my brother? Now I can go back. J. Dot, how you doing, brother? So my biggest issue is why not bring in a rookie quarterback if you know the team is not winning the Super Bowl yet, not even winning 5 games. Here's my thing, J. Dot, and I am in line with your initial thinking, and I understand. And if you gave me a quarterback with a little bit more, it's obvious that Franks doesn't have NFL accuracy down yet. And I know those are things you might have to teach him and grow and whatever. I do want to see this thing out a few games. We overreacted, folks. Not overreacted. Scratch that. We reacted the way we did because after a summer of a lot of turmoil in this organization, we were ready to see a semblance of change. And not only did we not see that, we saw worse. That's why we're acting like we are. That's why we're upset. That's why you see the post. That's why we're going at each other. That's why you see just total distrust in what the guys are doing right now after one game. It's not hate against Matt. It's not hate against Coach Arthur. It's not hate against GM. It's not hate against Rich McKay. It's not hate against Arthur Blank. We want to win. You win that game in the last second by 1 point. 70% of the stuff you see online right now goes poof. We want to see them win. And folks, I'm sorry, this week is not going to look good. These guys right here are not feeling sorry for us. They had a rough and tumble game against Dallas. They are not going to take us lightly. I'm telling you, Brady is going to try to hang 50 on us easily. So I hope whatever they do, I hope they have a different plan. So y'all speaking truth. I see so many posts talking absolute trash about our defense, but our defense held us in the game until late in the game. Offense didn't do anything. And again, Charles, it's one of those things where I'm not going to play the one single thing. I'm not going to play that game. There were so many variables in this loss. One helps the other. Dude, if the offense sustains drives, that gives the defense a chance to rest and come on at least a little bit rested and try to stop a running quarterback, an athletic quarterback. If we score a couple of points here, there's more pressure on the Philadelphia offense to score. So it works hand in hand. It's one thing to have a decent defense, but dude, if I stop them on fourth down, the momentum of us stopping them on fourth down, my offense should be jacked up and ready to go down there and give me 6. That's just, I'm not the biggest fan of Ryan, but when he's running the no-hole, he did it well. But when he's forced to think and read, we can see the decline in Matt. Boy, is that amazing? Because he marched down that field so quick. For a quick second, I was back in 2016 watching that great offense move up and down the field. I thought Freeman was in the backfield. I thought I saw Julio out there in the... Well, then I came back. My bad. So, yes, I'm just trying to tell y'all, man, it is crazy. Oh, man. Gregory says, man, I got to meet you, Steve, since I'm back for home for good. Yeah, man, we got to get together. We might, as I told a couple of y'all, might have something in the middle of the year that might interest y'all. We're gonna try to see what we can do. My man Mercy says they get their players from Hustle Man Online. Oh man, and maybe their coaches, bruh man. I need y'all to play number 3. Yes, I know that did help. Christian says, Jamal Anderson said, how do you draft Kyle Pitts so high and not have the entire offensive package for him? Make it make sense. I saw that tweet earlier today. And it does. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, y'all. It really does. And I'm going to my other thing, and this is probably, the one that I was scared of the most, because I know people are so either in this corner or so either in that corner. And quite frankly, I'm right down the middle. Is it fair to say that the lack of athletic skill set at quarterback hinders us against 2021 defenses in the NFL? And the reason I say this, folks, before anybody gets it twisted, and I hope people don't see a screenshot and just not listen to what I'm saying before I finish. It's not an anti-Matt thing. I looked at Chicago. And against that Rams defense, yeah, they scored a couple of touchdowns. But you saw the parts where you were saying they were going to let Andy Dalton dance for a little bit. But after a while, that defense was going to come get them. Because they know Andy not going anywhere. Ben Roethlisberger up in Pittsburgh with Buffalo playing him. Ben gonna get a couple because he's Ben. But at the same time, you don't have to guess where Ben is gonna go. Ben ain't trying to run out of that pocket. Ben is not rolling out. The defense only has to prepare for one thing: check the receivers. When you looked at the game against Philadelphia, as I'm looking across to the Philadelphia offense, Jalen Hurts, for the record, played a good game. But there's no way that I'm going to sit here now and maybe 16 games later, after an MVP performance, maybe I'll be saying something different. But I'm not willing to sit here now and say Jalen Hurts was just the most phenomenal quarterback in the history of the NFL. You know what Jalen Hurts was? Jalen Hurts was when Grady Jarrett went in there and tried to grab him, he had the ability to escape. He had the ability to get to the outside, and his receivers had the ability to break their route and help their quarterback. Jalen Hurts had the ability to run the RPO to kill us, whether he ran the ball or his running back ran the ball. Those things are what helps offenses now. That's one more thing the defense has to prepare for. Now, as somebody said earlier with Tom Brady, you're probably not going to get a lot of RPO out of Tom Brady, and you're probably not going to get a lot of Tom Brady running out of the pocket. But these other quarterbacks that we have coming up, and the majority of quarterbacks on good teams, they have those quarterbacks with that ability. That makes it so much harder for the offense. Because not only do they have to check wide receiver, tight end, running back, now they have to account for the quarterback. That's one more linebacker to take out of your defense. This is not the hate Matt Ryan hour. These are the things that I was thinking about in April to say, yeah, y'all can trot Matt Ryan out there if you want to. What we better start thinking about is 2022, 2023, because if you're going to sit out there and tell me that your vision is for Matt Ryan to be standing in there like a statue, like he was this past weekend, then you might as well let us fans know now so we can make financial decisions for the future. Because what we saw out there was somebody who, yes, the offensive line was not helping. Offensive line was atrocious. Philadelphia's line wasn't exactly holding up the fort, too. Grady got in there a couple of times. Mariner got in there a few times. They just couldn't close the deal because their quarterback can move. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about running for 86 yards. I'm not talking about Lamar Jackson. I'm not talking about that type of quarterback. I'm talking about somebody like Russell Wilson. I'm talking about something like a pre-first game Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking about Josh Allen. I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes. I'm talking about Dak Prescott. And the mere fact that you keep hearing me say I'm talking about, and I've gotten into 5, 6, 7, I'm talking about Joe Burrows. I'm talking about guys who can stretch, who can extend plays and do other things. Is it fair to say the lack of athletic skill set at quarterback hinders us? And it's also made us not think about this year. This is Rick. Until we get, and I can't see what you're saying. Till we get, and I don't know what you meant to say, who wants to win, we are in trouble. Matt is good, and he won't do what it takes to win. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying, Rick. I correct that for me so I can make sure I clean that up. What you're saying. Matt is good, and Matt is good, y'all. Matt is not a tier 3 quarterback. Matt is a firm tier 2 quarterback in the NFL right now. He is. But this defense made him look old. This defense made him look tired. And you're going to see other quarterbacks. I thought that's what you meant. Thanks, Rick. But we have to move forward. I'm bringing up Baltimore. Joe Flacco was drafted the same year as Matt Ryan. Baltimore made that decision a couple of years ago to say, you know what? Love you, Joe. Thanks for the Super Bowl. I mean, peace. You were awesome, but we got to turn the page eventually. So let's put somebody on here that puts some pressure on Matt. We have nobody on this team. If Matt sits on this team, it's because of injury or it's just because he's stinking up the joint. We don't have anybody on the like they do in Chicago. Oh, don't think Andy Dalton doesn't see Justin Fields sitting on the sidelines. He sees them. So we don't have that. And until we get that, I think it's going to be unfair to expect anything different from Matt. Matt doesn't have anything to push him. Corey said it's fair to say the NFL game has changed and we have to change with it. It is a quarterback-driven league, and the athletic quarterback is required. Bottom line. Cam says Jalen Hurts played great, but did he honestly dominate our defense? Not at all. He took advantage later in the game where they were beyond gas. Sounds good to me. Gregory says the loss against Philly is what you get when you don't establish chemistry with your starters during the preseason. It's going to take at least week 4 or more to somewhat establish chemistry. And with a team like ours, you better hurry up and get it. You still have a very soft front part of your schedule, y'all. When we get past Tampa Bay, you got Washington, you got New York, you got the Jets. Folks, it's not all over. You can gain confidence in those middle games, but you got to give us something better than what you got in week 1. You better. The Jets and the Giants should be 2 wins again, but we also thought this should have been 2 wins. I'm going to stop saying what should be. That's Cam says, Matt Ryan and Arthur Smith need to run the no-huddle bunch more, and we need to have Pitts lined up against the linebackers. He was mainly manned up with corners who could stay in front of him and defend him. Take the mismatch for why you brought him here, and let's not forget Hurst. Hurst caught a passer too. Hurst is nice, man. And I remember when they first drafted Pitts, there were a lot of people like, oh, there goes Hurst. Man, please. You put Hurst on that other side, you free up Hurst. Hurst is still a nice tight end. I don't think he's going to be here next year, but Hurst is still good. I like him. Christian says, people need to understand football is a game of inches. If so, if you have a quarterback like Dak, Lance, Wilson, it helps when the game is tight in the fourth quarter. And not only that, Christian, the threat, just like I was talking about with Julio, the threat of those guys, the threat of Lamar running the ball, the threat of Dak scrambling, the threat of Trey Lance scrambling, the threat of soon-to-be Justin Fields scrambling, the threat of those guys. Aaron Rodgers, same way. All those guys have that extra that make you think how you're going to do your defense. We're going to stack everybody in. Uh-oh, wait a minute. We got Lamar Jackson back there. Joe Burrow did the same thing, third down. You have to think about him too. Joe Burrow can run. Third down and 1 in overtime against the Vikings. They had everybody up and had one guy getting ready to go in there and get Joe Burrow. Throw the ball, throw it up in the air, 30-yard pass down to the inside the 10, game winner. It again is not personal. Is it fair to say? That's all I was talking about. Anyway, young men and young women, I have to go to work. I got my cortisone shot in my knee today. I'm feeling good. So I don't know why. Look, I don't have any cartilage in my right knee. And so when I get that cortisone shot every 3 months, it just revitalizes things and get things going. So I'm getting ready to get out of here and go to work and do this. Great talking to y'all today. I will definitely be on Friday to give my pick section. This week I had some horrific picks this week. I don't even want to talk about it because my picks were bad. I'm pretty sure a lot of people's picks were bad last week. But anyway, hopefully we have a good Wednesday. Again, take your raincoat out there. It's supposed to be raining. And y'all be good, man. Take care of yourselves. And we will see y'all on Friday. Atlanta Bird Gang out.